Mark, we I know this was titled National Signing Day Preview, and I know we got to wrap it up, but can we quickly just can I throw Elliot a couple of alley oops and see if he can throw them down here?
Let's do it.
So I guess my first thing is this is a smaller class than in typical years, Elliot. So there's less athletes to talk about, but Yosei Epinesa may be as good as they've had in any year, and that includes when they landed Xavier Wampa. I don't think he has quite as many accolades or hype as much hype as maybe a Caden Proctor did, but obviously getting Yosei was huge, and he's kind of the foundation piece of this class. I really like Terrence Smith. Obviously, they need talent at receiver more than maybe any other position, with the exception being maybe the one we've been talking about at quarterback. And then I just think some really solid pieces at positions where they've been good. Brad Fitzgibbon comes to mind. Thomas Meyer at a Clear Lake. Of course, another foundation piece at quarterback in Jimmy Sullivan. And I really like Joey Van Wetzinga. Is there anybody that stands out in the class to you? And is there any chance of anybody? I mean, again, I know numbers are a big thing right now, but is there any chance that Iowa flips anybody tomorrow?
Not any flips that I'm aware of. There will be another addition to the class that hasn't, committed. You stay tuned, with Iowa.Rivals.com. Our premium subscribers know all about that, and I really, really like this late edition. But as far as the gems of the class, you have to start with Yosei, right? With the legacy, with what AJ was able to do. I don't know that Yosei is a guy that is going to come in and play right away just because of his position. You probably want to let him cook a little bit, but he probably does have also a little bit of edge in that he can learn from his dad. He can learn from his brother who is in the system. So, that dude is just a monster on the football field, right? He fell in the rankings for us just because of the lack of competition. He didn't go to the Rivals Camp Series stuff towards the end of his career, so he wasn't playing against these huge 5-star kids, so he dropped off for us. But then I personally go to Burt Goucher and Carson Cooney, linebackers in this class, who were bumped up to 4 stars for us. They're gonna have to cook a little while just because of how deep the linebacker position is at Iowa. Even the class ahead of them with Derek Weiskopf and Cam Buffington and Preston Reese for that matter. But Carson Cooney's a thumper, man. Burt Goucher is an athlete. He'd probably be a Will, maybe very well could be a Cash, but I don't think he has that type of speed. But I think Lucas Allgaier is a guy that's super underrated in this class. I watched him walk on the field a couple times this year at games when I take photos of the visitors down there. He's a big dude, man, and he's that classic defensive tackle and offensive lineman that George Barnett likes. He likes those guys who have a little bit of that athleticism. You mentioned Joey Van Wetzinga. That dude is a perfect center for what Iowa wants to do, physical tools wise, athleticism wise. Meanness, those are the initial names that pop out. I know you mentioned Terrence Smith. That's a guy that could probably play early. He's another big guy like Reese Vanderzee is in terms of a receiver, more of an X, but playmaker in space, a guy who can go up and get a ball. So, those are the big ones for me.
Mason Woods is another guy we haven't talked about, but obviously son of LeVar Woods, really good athlete, and probably could play a couple different positions. He's talented enough and athletic enough to play a couple of different positions. But it'll be nice to get Jimmy Sullivan in officially. Now, he was not a Tim Lester kid, but I'd like to get Tim's thoughts once he can talk about Jimmy.
Yeah. So what I will say is, I don't know if you saw the picture that I posted once. Lester went out and watched him throw with Coach Bud Meyer in the spring. And they all took a picture together, and Lester looked like a kid in a candy store. Relative to what he had in the quarterback room, he's like, okay, we actually got a guy. That's what I read on his face anyway. And everything that I've heard and read and seen from Sullivan is that he is a quintessential quarterback. He's got the charisma. He's got the tools. And, he's not listed as a dual threat on our site, but he's not necessarily, he's not Mike Vick, right? But he's got some of that mobility, like similar to what a Brendan Sullivan has, or like an Alex Padilla had. So I'm a believer in Jimmy Sullivan. I don't know that he's going to come in and change things at the quarterback position, but he is enrolling early. And that's a plus for him. He's going to get in the offense and learn it. And There won't be as much traveling as far as going out and seeing recruits now with a few changes. So he'll be under Lester basically the entirety of the spring.
Elliot Clough, Hawkeye Beacon on Rivals. Check out Elliot's work right there. Elliot, anything in particular? I guess I'm stating the obvious with National Signing Day tomorrow, but that people want to check out on the site?
Lots of stuff right now, especially for premium subscribers, regarding the portal, regarding bowl opt-outs, regarding who could come back next season as far as seniors that have some eligibility left. It's really, we're really loaded with that type of content right now on our premium board. Just wrote a couple recruiting stories. We're going to have more opinion-based things tomorrow with signing day of like, here's why I think why, one kid we didn't mention today, Charles Bell, that I really like in this class too. Really rangy, long, athletic, solid ball skills for a corner coming out of St. Thomas More in Connecticut. Had offers from Penn State, had an offer from Rutgers, had an offer from North Carolina State, ended up picking Iowa. That's a kid that I like. So we're going to have content based on that, and stay tuned for that extra commit signee that I mentioned. That's one that I really like, and that I am maybe that might be the gem of this class up there with Yosei Epinesa. So stay tuned. We'll have that ASAP. That'll be coming out around 9 a.m. tomorrow, 9 a.m. 9:15 Central.
Appreciate it, Elliot. Enjoy the hoops tonight.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Good to see you.
Bye.
There we go. National Signing Day. The Rivals site has Iowa ranked at number 58. I know that that's not and has never been a concern, but with only 14 commits, I think the national average per player has to be much better than a number 58 ranking because, of the low number of commits at this point.